Calling in from, where are you calling in from, Jessica?
I'm on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia.
Amazing. Okay, and then I'm just double checking that we are live in the Facebook group. I see that we are live. There we are. I see our beautiful faces. Thank you so much, Jessica, for joining us today. Do you want to tell our audience just a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me, Catherine. It's really fun to be here today. So I'm Jessica Osborne, as you just said. I'm a business coach and I work with female entrepreneurs in the services space who are really looking to get out of that one-to-one sort of space and leverage and grow their business more. So I help them to maximize both their one-to-one offerings, but also to layer in other offerings so that they get more scalability and growth, essentially. So I have that through an online program that I call Business Jam, which is just authentic marketing. So marketing is my background, and yeah, apart from that, I host a free Facebook group called My Tribe, which is also for female entrepreneurs. And I've recently launched a podcast called She's the Business.
Yay! Congratulations. How's that going so far?
It's going really well. It's been exciting and all a bit of a blur. I'm doing 2 episodes a week, which I've committed to, and it's a lot. But I have plenty of pre-recorded content, which I'm leveraging. So I'm a massive fan of leveraging, repurposing content, and so I've got a stack of pre-recorded content that I'm using, and I'm also doing some new interviews as well. And yeah, it's all going pretty well. I've got a really great team who's helping to put it together, and I'm just doing the bits that I get told to do. So
Love
yeah,
it.
it's good. Loving it.
Now, you and I have only known each other, well, I guess since April of this
Yeah,
year, right? So only a
that's
matter
right.
of months. Do you want to share how we met?
Yes, well, so we met in James Wedmore's elite coaching program, I guess we call it, next level. um, and yeah, it's been really great getting to know you, Catherine, and know your business and your audience. And I'm so excited about this sort of new leaf that you're turning with what you're bringing to people like myself, who have been wanting to really learn how to use my voice better for my business. I always thought I wasn't someone who liked to speak in front of people. So I've been a marketer. So in my career, I spent 20 years in corporate, and I'm always behind the scenes. I'm looking at the strategy, I'm writing the copy, I'm doing all of the planning of what happens, but I was never the voice or the face of the businesses that I worked for. So coming into this business, and I set it up as a personal brand. My business, my website URL is jessicaosborne.com. I thought as a coach, it's about me. That's who people are buying. So I need to get over this fear that I had of being online and of speaking, and actually just get out there and do it. So I started with some Facebook Lives, and the first few were pretty hilarious because I had my camera sideways on one of them. So one of my first ones, the video was sideways. People were looking at me on the screen, and I had no idea. I just went through with the whole thing sideways. Um, but I just did it. I knew I just had to get out there and do it messy, just get over my fear of putting myself out there. But in this experience, I found that I really love to talk, which you're probably discovering right now because I'm continuing to talk. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I found it so easy. Where writing, I love writing as well, but it takes me a lot longer. Whereas with talking, I can just have a few talking points and then I can go live and I can speak. And I just find it's easier, it's faster, it flows for me, and I really enjoy it. So I guess that was the long vision of then coming to, hey, I could actually start a podcast, and that would be something I'd like to do, whereas the old me would have been absolutely not even in my zone of genius at all. Um, and I've been realizing, really how important it is for my voice to be able to connect with my audience and to really get a message across and not just deliver the message, but in a way that people aren't connecting with. So that was my thing, I guess, at the start of this year, and coming into this new space where I'm really wanting to get out there even more, like with the podcast, and I'm starting to do live launches. And a lot more live training and not so much pre-recorded. I was like, I'm ready to step it up to the next level, ironically, and really be a stronger person, have a voice of authority, which is what your program's called, ironically. But that's really what I wanted to have. And so I think when you mentioned that you were going to do this program, Katherine, I just put up my hand straight away. I was like, yes, that's exactly me. That's what I want, is to learn how to be able to use my voice better.
Yeah. It's interesting that, you had put off the podcast. I put off my podcast as well. And even though I'm a voice coach, it was something that I found really daunting for some reason. I wasn't really sure how to approach it or what my voice would be. And there was a moment when I started the podcast where I realized I was a voice of authority. And that's where things clicked. And I thought, oh my goodness, that's what we're really stepping into as being a personal brand, of being an expert or a thought leader in your business, is becoming that leader, becoming a voice of authority and paving the way for others. And that's really exciting, but probably something that people put on the back burner is they don't really consider their voice and how important it is in really influencing and impacting your audience. And did you notice that shift at all when we started working together?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I kind of had an inkling of some of the things that I knew I didn't know enough about that I needed to learn. But there was so much more that I didn't realize at all, like simple things like breathing and, how to not pause awkwardly in strange places, which I think I tend to do naturally, trying to catch up with my thoughts and, get the thoughts in order because there's so much happening there. So I did. Yeah, there's so much in it. And I feel like I'm still at that place where I know more practice will make perfect. And there's a lot to think about. So I'm trying to not overthink it and not to lose my natural speaking ability, because it obviously then it does feel really forced and like you're thinking about it whenever you're talking. So for me, it's, now that I've got a whole lot of that knowledge, it's just trying to kind of seed it in naturally and to keep practicing and not focus on everything all at once, but just try to focus on one thing at a time until I get that. So,
Correct.
yeah, it was really, really helpful to be able to have that live interaction where I could speak, and because I don't really know what I'm doing or what I'm not doing and what I'm doing wrong, and to just get that live feedback and understand that, be able to hear myself and then recognize in myself what it is that I'm doing. That was so powerful, because I think it's totally different from, maybe if you'd done a course or read some theory about it, you might be like, yeah, I understand that. I understand that using volume and tempo can, really help to bring your audience along on a journey. And you get that. Like, it's easy to understand when you read it and you can get it, but you don't know how you're doing it. That's
Right.
the thing. Like, how am I actually doing it? Am I doing it? Am I not doing it? And I think that's me. I was like, I can't tell if I'm talking in a monotone or if I am inflecting and I'm bringing people on a journey. Am I too fast? Am I too slow? What do I need to do? Because, when we speak, we're speaking naturally. We're just sort of letting it come out. And yeah, I think that for me was, I just didn't really know where I was at in the whole spectrum of talking and how I should be speaking better.
Yeah, it's fascinating because we take it for granted. We have a voice, we've used it all our lives. It's an automatic response that the body produces. We have a thought and we speak it. We don't really think about the mechanics behind it, especially when you talked about breath. We breathe all the time. We never think about our
Mm,
breath unless perhaps we're doing yoga or meditation. We might drop in and think about the breath a little bit. But how greatly the breath can impact your voice. Not only the strength of your voice, so really sounding like a voice of authority, but also allowing your true self to come out. So our breath carries the emotions out, which is really interesting. And when we allow those emotions out, when we allow our audience to feel or to understand how we're feeling in our communication, it can be such a powerful thing to really moving them in a direction to a transformation, and also that connection to really start to relate to them on a more personal level, so that this screen doesn't seem like a screen. It actually seems like a genuine conversation. And that starts with the breath.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, that combined with just understanding about the energy and how to not be inside my head and to be thinking so much, and actually just to speak to people like I would be speaking to you, like we're sitting here, and to actually let myself get excited about it,
Mm,
and let all the emotion come through, because that's what connects someone to what I'm saying. And I think that's why, when I reflect, I've done a few times where I've tried to script a video, and it's just been so awkward. Like I watch it and I think, oh God, I'm I'm just not coming across naturally, because
mm,
I'm trying to remember the words that I need to say next. I'm all in my head. I sound really forced. I've got no emotion. There's no energy happening. And that's for me, yeah, it was just about that whole scripting process. So I think it was even learning my own style, and what works well for me would be to, have talking points and run it through, but then to just talk without trying to follow a script, like actually
yeah.
just to let the natural words come out, and in my own sort of natural way. Definitely has worked a lot better for me.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a really good point, is everyone works differently. So you have to figure out what works for you. Get the tools
Mm,
and you put it into practice, and what feels good for you. What feels good for you may not feel good for somebody else, but it really is a skill like anything else, and the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. And so if you really want to be, stepping into that role of an authority figure, influencer, voice of authority, whatever you want to call yourself, you need to put yourself out there. So it's finding the way that you want to put yourself out there. Some people might be YouTube videos, other people might be podcasting, other people it might be Instagram. It doesn't really matter what it is, as long as it connects to you and it feels good.
yeah.
Very interesting, Jess.
Yeah, I think that's it. And it's like choosing the element or the medium to get out there that you actually feel the most comfortable with, because that's
Mm.
going to allow you to be more yourself. And, I'm all for giving ourselves a challenge, and I said before, I had to put myself on Facebook Live. I'd never done it before. But then I gave myself this challenge to go, right, I'm not just going to do it once or on a one off, because I know that the more I do it, the easier it's going to get. So, I challenged myself to do one a week. And as long as I stayed true to that commitment to myself and was doing it, it felt easier and easier, and it felt a lot more natural. And, obviously you're getting used to doing it. I didn't really care if I had no one watching me. I was like, I'm just going to go live. I'm going to do it, and then it's done. And the replay's there. People can watch that. So it wasn't about worrying about who was on the other end. It was more just, I'm just going to talk as if there are people there, at least one person I'm talking to, and make it fun and make it easy for myself, so that I'm not overthinking it. And that's, yeah, it really has a lot of power in that. I think, doing in a place where you feel the most energetically connected, I think
Mm.
helps you to feel relaxed about it, and just to get out there and do it and not worry so much. Because, yeah, like that's where we can all feel too constricted. I think that definitely takes us away from being able to get that voice out there. But I've been practicing the breathing, reading stories to my kids at night.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a good time for me to practice it, and to see, how long I can go on one breath without breathing, to see
Mm.
whether I get to the end of the sentence and how I'm feeling. Because, you get to that point where, like, I need to breathe, and then I can't let the energy out. But, yeah.
That's right. It's
Um,
practice.
yeah.
That's interesting, though. Have you noticed, and maybe not, and that's okay, you may start to notice, has working on your voice changed things outside of business for you and how you use your voice?
Hmm. I think. Yeah, well, that was one that I am consciously doing, like
Mm,
reading to my kids. And yeah, I don't know as much. I guess because we're online so much at the moment, I'm not
mm,
in a business sense really in a face-to-face environment with people. Um,
true.
but I'm a lot more conscious of my breath and my breathing.
Mm,
So when I'm doing like my podcast, even though I might be putting up a pre-recorded live or something that I've done in the past, so obviously that's already done. I'm just, as long as it was okay, I'm leaving it. But I'm doing the intros and outros. So I'm
yes.
obviously now really doing a lot of that. So before I start one, I do some breathing just to get relaxed. I smile so that I've got, I'm actually feeling really good about what
Mm,
I'm putting out there and the energy. And I've noticed, I actually had a friend comment to me the other day, yes, on LinkedIn, saying that they've been following a lot of my content. I didn't even know because she hasn't been liking it or anything, but she said, "Oh, you've got such a so much positive energy coming out of your posts, and really fantastic." And a lot of them are video, so
that's great.
yeah, that was really good to hear.
Wonderful. And can you notice a difference in recording your intros and outros for your podcast from the beginning to now? Do you notice any difference there?
Yeah, I feel like they're coming across with a lot more power, like
Hmm.
as in not just confidence. So I'm not holding back. It's so hard to explain, but it feels like before I'd be trying really hard to make it really good, whereas now I'm like, you know what? I'm just saying it, and I'm saying it more with, with the energy behind my voice and in what I want to say.
Yeah.
And I think that it comes across on such a different level.
Mm.
So, yeah, I re recorded my main intro, I think for the 50th time. I did. But I kind of did that after we'd started this program because I was like, oh, yeah, the first one, I think I was trying too hard, and I think that was coming
Right.
across. It was a lot more forced. Whereas then I was like, you know what? What do I really want to say? I really want to get.
Mm.
I'm talking to them. It's not about me. It's not about what I'm saying. It's about who I'm connecting to, and helping them feel like, this is something I want to listen to. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So true. Well, you'll start to continue to make those discoveries as you go along with working on your voice. It's very exciting. It's good to hear that you're putting the tools to practice that I've shared with you, and I'm excited to keep working with you and seeing how you grow both professionally and personally, because I know it will impact both, which is very exciting. Any last words you want to say about how important voice is for your business, how you found it, or any advice for people who have not yet worked on their voice, what they should really consider in using their voice in business?
Yeah. Look, I think if you're in any sort of business where you are the main person, you are the face of your business, whether you're on the logo or, whether you are a personal brand or not, you are. People are buying you, they're buying your expertise, your knowledge, your skills. So whether you like it or not, that is really what people are buying. They're not buying a package, they're not buying your price. They are buying you, and the trust is in you. So the better and easier that you can get out there and connect with them, and help them to feel like you're a real human. I like this person. I like what they say. I have trust in them. Authority uh, is builds your reputation. A reputation builds trust. Like they're also linked.
Mm,
And so being able to actually have that voice of authority, it's about, yes, you might have a voice in the written work, but when you take it into another one of your five senses with the audio
mm,
and obviously visual, you're just exploding the amount of authority that you have, the amount of recollection that they'll have, the connection with your brand and your business. It's the more of the senses that you can engage, the deeper the connection that you're going to make. So I would just say if anyone's holding back and feeling fearful, there's lots of reasons that we feel fearful. Maybe someone's even told us in the past something that we've held on to as a bit of a belief, like that we're not a good speaker or we're not good with words or whatever it is. It might be
mm.
holding us back from actually talking and getting out there. And that happens a lot. We tend to have something that has happened in our past that makes us think that we're not a good speaker, like I had as well, right from my childhood, embarrassing situations with doing a speech in front of the class. And I thought, oh, I'm never going to be a speaker. I can't do it. I think that just being able to get some confidence in how we use our voice and understanding our voice and doing some of the practice just in that safe space to learn, hey, actually, I can do this and I have got a voice and it's not hard to speak. That can be such a huge barrier that you're breaking down about getting out there. And then, of course, there's the video element, but you don't have to do video. You can do podcasting like Katherine and I do.
That's right.
It's just, and we're all people. People like to connect with people. We buy from humans. So, I really think if I can give any advice, it's a great thing for any leader of a business, any leader within a business. If you're somebody who's, connecting and engaging with people and want to be seen as an authority and someone that people would like to buy from, then it's an essential part of growing into that place.
Oh, amazing. Love it, Jess. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited to see where your podcast grows and follow along in your journey. It's been such a joy to get to know you and work with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Katherine. It's been amazing. I think that the universe contrived for us to meet and for you to do this program while we're together in Next Level. So I'm really, really grateful as well that we came across each other and I was able to do this with you. So I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. And for anyone that's watching this live or replay, Global Voice of Authority is now open. It is a chance to join as a founding member because this is a brand new program. We are going to be building it from scratch together with some other amazing people. You are going to join me for 8 weeks of group coaching. You will get weekly assignments along the way as well as feedback. And it's going to be really fun. So doors close Thursday night at midnight. That's Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you check out all the details at katherinebeck.com/GVA. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Jess.
Thank you.
Bye.